Bless this highly nutritious, microwavable macaroni and cheese dinner and the people who sold it on sale. Amen.
Hey, this is Justin from Books, Bricks, and Boards. Thought I would take the time today on this day of Thanksgiving to give thanks to the folks that developed some of my favorite board games. I did my top 5 favorite books a couple weeks ago. You guys seem to like that, so I'm going to do my top 5 favorite boards. That would be the board games that I enjoy playing the most at this time. Going to start off with my number 5. That would be Role Player by Thunderworks Games, developed by Keith Matejka. I also have my Role Player Cartographers games sitting here, but really it's primarily the role player game itself, Monsters and Minions, and also Fiends and Familiars included in that. Now this is my number 5 currently, but I also have Role Player Adventures that is pre-ordered right now. So once I get that in, that could move the Role Player series up my list. The thing I like about Role Player is it gives me the best parts about a role-playing game, that is the character creation, and it takes out all of the fat. It lets me just enjoy that creative process of putting together the best possible character I can, and then it gives me a light way to enjoy that character through the Monsters and Minions expansion. With Role Player Adventures, I'm going to be able to import those characters over and potentially enjoy a long-term campaign experience with that. So again, that is number 5 on my list, Role Player by Thunderworks Games and developed by Keith Matejka. And here is my number 4 of my favorite board games. This is Cloudspire, and it is a chip theory game, which is my favorite game development company by far. It was designed by Josh and Adam Carlson, along with Josh Wielgus. So Cloudspire, if you are looking at the box, you might think, wow, he doesn't have much Cloudspire stuff. Actually, this is everything for Cloudspire crammed into the base box. That's one of the things I like about chip theory, is they give you these huge boxes that you can actually combine everything into one package. So I have all of the content in there. I also have the miniatures, but they take up a lot of space and wouldn't make for a very good shot. But Cloudspire, I was hesitant on at first, and actually I didn't really get the game the first time I owned it. I didn't play it much and I didn't enjoy it. But whenever I read a commentary about it that was referring to it as similar to the old Warcraft RTS games, it started to make much more sense to me. And when I started viewing it in that light, then I got a lot more enjoyment out of the game. I'm not a MOBA player. I've never got into Dawn of the Ancients or any of the other MOBA games. However, Cloudspire does definitely give me that feel of World of Warcraft, but Warcraft, the old RTS game, not the online role-playing game. So in Cloudspire, you get to scratch that strategic itch, and you get to play in a beautiful world with some really interesting factions, and the variable player powers in this game are incredibly diverse. Just a really fun game. The only knock that I would have on it would be that it does take a while and you have to be focused while you're playing it. But that is Cloudspire by Chip Theory Games, coming in at number 4.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?
Then here at number 3, we have Hoplomachus, brought to the forefront of the community by the wonderful videos that Ricky Royal did many years back. Hoplomachus is a 1, 2, 3, or 4 player game. It allows for strategic choices along the lines of chess, but with a little bit of variable player power and some great aesthetics. Love the mats, love the chips, love the concept. It is a very fun game. The only thing that keeps it from being higher up my list is there is not really any major sort of continuation of the game from session to session. Now in Origins, you do have the trials and you can work your way up those, and that does scratch that itch a little bit, but really it does feel like you're playing a completely different game each time, and because of that, you don't get as much depth and as much attachment to the individual sessions that you play. But it is a great, great game, and if you love gladiator themes, then Hoplomachus would be a wonderful choice for you. Additionally, it is going to be remastered and re-released probably next year, and it will be available on the Chip Theory website. This is the older version, of course, the new one's not out yet, but if you can find an older copy on eBay, they are well worth your investment.
What the hell?
All right, now at number 2 on my list of my top favorite 5 boards, I've got Shadows of Brimstone. Now this is a series that includes Forbidden Fortress. Shadows of Brimstone is a genre-bending melting pot of gaming types. It is an RPG. It is a campaign game. It definitely has a huge variety of choices. If you're into sci-fi, it's got you covered. If you're into horror, it's got you covered. If you're in the Old West, it's got you covered. If you're into mutations and radiation, it's got you covered. If you're into feudal Japan, it's got you covered. And the gameplay is deceptively simple despite the huge number of rules involved. This is just a small piece of my collection, as well as some of the things I've gotten from Etsy that I use when I play. Shadows of Brimstone is a fantastic hobby game. What I mean by that is you don't just have fun with it while you're playing the game, but also while you're preparing for it, while you're figuring out storage solutions, whenever you're painting the miniatures. Shadows of Brimstone is almost like a lifestyle game. I'm going to go down here and show you more of my Shadows of Brimstone collection. I've got an entire roller cart full of miniatures. I've got another roller cart just full of tiles. But overall, Shadows of Brimstone is an amazing experience. If you've got a group, you want to play a campaign, but nobody wants to be the game master or dungeon master, this is a wonderful D&D in a box experience with a very unique theme element to it. So that is my number 2, Shadows of Brimstone by Flying Frog Productions, and a game by Jason C. Hill.
What's that? This, my friend, is a pint. It comes in pints?
Oh, I can get you one.
And finally, here is my number 1 board. This is Too Many Bones, and this is actually all of the Too Many Bones play content neatly tucked into a few boxes, and there is a ton of content here. They've got a Kickstarter that just finished up for Unbreakable. It's going to add even more, and it's clearly not going to fit in these boxes then, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there, just like on day 3, crossing the Cibron. But the thing I love about Too Many Bones, which is another game by Adam and Josh Carlson and the folks at Chip Theory Game, is that you can fit the feel of an entire role-playing game campaign into a single 2 to 3 hour session and still get that that itch scratch for character development, story progression, and you can even get that continuing campaign experience through the Age of Tyranny or the Undertow campaigns. It is just a phenomenal achievement. The components are second to none in my opinion. The chips are great. The heat pressed dice are awesome. The variety of characters and enemies and tyrants and the mats, the cards, and just the creativity that went into the story and to how the game works. It is just by far my favorite game. It's the first solo board game that made me think, oh, you know what, I could really get into one of these. Before, solo had always been something that I thought about but never really gave a full due interest in. Too Many Bones changed that, and it really opened up my eyes to many other options, and it has never ceased to be an amazing game in my opinion. I never get tired of it. And I definitely feel like the folks at Chip Theory Games hit upon a once in a career idea with Too Many Bones. My favorite #1 board. Definitely, if you've not played this yet, get a copy, play this game. You won't regret it. And this was my #1 board, Too Many Bones. Hey, it's Justin. Just finished up my top 5 boards list. Hope you enjoyed that. Want to say that I'm also thankful to you guys for your subscriptions and for your likes and comments. Always appreciate sharing the hobby with anybody that is interested. Definitely have a lot to be thankful for, and appreciate you guys, and appreciate the ability to play these wonderful games because these awesome developers created them for us. So on this 2021 Thanksgiving, I want to say good gaming and God bless.